Welcome back to an exciting video, and what we are talking about today is playing legato. What is legato? Well, legato is the opposite of staccato. You don't know what staccato is. Staccato is the opposite of legato. What staccato is this. Everything's broken up and it's broken into pieces and there's pauses in between it. Legato is the exact opposite of that. It is and generally in legato, you really don't do a whole lot of picking. Well, why are we going to learn legato if we're working on all these picking exercises? If we're working on getting this down, why are we doing this? Well, because there's a time and a place for everything, and I love playing legato. And there's certain passages that chances are, depending on your picking skill, you're going to run the passages you're just simply not going to be able to pick. It's just going to be moving too fast. So what do? You play it legato. And I love playing legato, and I play a lot of stuff legato because A, it's easy. Well, let me rephrase that. It's easy once you learn how to do it, like everything else in this world. I mean, hell, sleeping with fat chicks is easy once you learn how to do it. Once you get over that initial hurdle, it's not that hard. But this is the same thing. You got to work at it, and once you work at it, you will find that you will start using legato in a lot of soloing passages because it just kind of makes shit easy sometimes. And you're going to run into these passages you're just not going to be able to pick. I did that Katy Perry Rise. I did a metal version of her song, because I wanted to. I know it's Katy Perry, but it still sounded cool. It sounded cool as shit. But it's got this legato passage in it because it was just too hard for me to pick. So I did a legato, and now granted without remembering how it goes, but the passage was, yeah. And it was just, it was just too hard to pick at that speed for me and to pick it perfectly cleanly. So I just did a legato, and it sounds great. And it works. And at the end of the day, that's all we care about, is does it work? We got to get from A to D. And in our guitar solo, we got to get to D. But if we got these incredibly, just blazingly fast ripping passages in B and C that this hand can't do, then we're going to use legato. Is it cheating? No, absolutely not. Everybody does it. Steve Vai does it. Paul Gilbert does it. Randy Rhoads did it. Eddie Van Halen does it. Everybody uses legato. And legato is badass. It is so badass that they've actually even got, I don't know if this is a real thing, but I've heard it called the Eddie Van Halen Scale. And it's, I think it's in Dreams, in the guitar solo of Dreams. He does this blazingly fast, 3-note per string, with 1, 2, and 4. And I think, I cannot remember the position. I'm going to say for shits and giggles it's at 14. It could be at 16, but it's basically this. Got a little warble on that one. Yeah, I did. But he burns through it incredibly fast. And of course, moving that fast, even though half those notes are out of scale, they're accidentals, moving that fast, they're passing tones, and it still sounds fantastic. But me, personally, I could not pick that passage that fast. Now, I know people who can. Some people are just born with that incredible ability to pick with their right hand. And the rest of the world, like me, we have to work at it. We work at it diligently, and that's why I did the last video, the repeating picking pattern, that I just absolutely love doing. But there are times where it's just too damn hard to pull that off. So what do? We do legato. And legato works, and legato is badass, and I like legato. So what is legato? Legato is a series of hammer-ons and pull-offs, and that's exactly what it is. So you know what a hammer-on is. You know what a pull-off is. Legato is a series of that, all strung together. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep it basically in the Eddie Van Halen scale. If that's a real thing or not, I don't know, but I have heard it called that. And we're going to stay with 1, 2, and 4. Of course, you can do this with 1, 3, and 4 just as well. And as long as you're at it, you might as well do the shit with 1, 2, and 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump down here at the 7th fret, grab us an artificial pick harmonic, and we're going to work on descending the fretboard. Now, something that you do want while you're doing this is you want a very fast guitar. You want something with really low action and preferably something with a lot of gain. The more gain, the easier it is to do this, but the noisier it's going to become. We're not worried about the noise. Right now, we're not worried about the sloppiness. Right now, we're worried about the technique. As the technique improves, the sloppiness will go away and you will start backing off of the distortion in turn. So, what we're going to do, now you can do this where you do these hammer-ons from nowhere. When I'm descending, I always pick my first note because the hammer-ons from nowhere with a lot of distortion gets very, very noisy very fast, and then it just basically starts to sound like shit. And what it is well, there's so much extraneous noise, you're missing some of the notes because every time I lift off, you're getting that. So I pick my opening notes. And then I hammer on all the way up. Now the goal here is to keep everything smooth, try to keep everything in time. You know what I say about my using the metronomes. Gotta use them, gotta use them, gotta use them. Keep everything in time. Use your metronome. Starting off, not so much, because right now we're just trying to get things moving. But use your metronome and try to keep the notes even in volume. Elbow. I got tinnitus. Actually, I got tinnitus here, 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 and here. And I gotta tell you, it's a shitload of fun. I love it. I can't even count how many cortisone shots I've had in my elbows. Anyway, moving on. So, like I said, keep everything smooth, keep everything even. When you're descending, get in the habit of picking that first note because it's going to help you keep everything clean with this much distortion. And then work in, and then do 1, 3, and 4. Don't just stay on 1, 2, and 3. And what you've got to do here is there's a couple things that you've got to worry about. One is hitting the target. You got to hit the string, and you want to try to come directly onto the string the best that you can. You don't want to be, if these are your strings, you don't want your fingers like this because it's going to create a lot of extraneous noise. You want to try to come directly on top of the string as much as you can. And I did a video a long time ago. The best thing you can do to improve your guitar playing is wear your damn guitar up. You can't do this shit when your guitar's down here at your knees. It just simply doesn't work. Bring it up here. That's why classical players play like this, and they do a tremendous amount of legato stuff. Is because here you can attack the fretboard. Now I'm not saying when you're playing your show, your guitar should be right here, because then you're going to look like a dork, and chances are you probably look like a dork already anyway, because I sure as hell know I do. But as dorky as I am, I still wear my guitar fairly high because it's easier for me to get under it. And this is just how I like to play because when I went to school for music, I took classical guitar and I kind of like it up here. So I just always kept mine kind of high. Yeah, it looks a hell of a lot cooler down here, but you know what? I play like shit down there. And the goal is not to play like shit. The goal, like I say every video, is to be badass. So I play more badass with my guitar high. I look more badass with my guitar low. But you know what? I don't know, looking cool is pretty fucking cool when you're in a band. But sounding cool, you gotta have it. You gotta sound cool. Because if you're not sounding cool, you're sure as hell not looking cool. So anyway, pick, descending, pick every beginning string and keep everything smooth. Okay, coming back up. Now coming back up, you do not need to pick. You can actually just work it through with your hand. Because since you're descending, you've got something to help cover some of the muted noise. To where going this way, you're leaving all these strings open. As as you move down. Well, coming this way, your hand's coming back across, so you can control some of the noise. So on this, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go up and then work my way down. And I'm going to go up, down, all the way across. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm starting here at 7, and these are all hammer-ons. Then I'm pulling off back down. Then I'm hammering onto the B string at 10, pulling off, hammer on, pull off. Repeat the process. Do a change up in there. I put number 3 in there at the end. Don't know if you caught that shit or not. But, and that's really all you really need to do to get started, because you got to start developing the technique itself. So take your time. And if you notice, you probably can't see it there, but if you notice how sharply my fingers are curled into the neck, even though I'm playing at an angle, because I get a little better pull off playing from the side than I do playing straight down. But I'm trying to attack the neck with my finger as straight to the fretboard as I possibly can and hit my target fret right dead center of that string. And with the pinky, it's actually, that's the one you're going to struggle with the most. And you can still hear there's a bit of noise, and that's why they make those wraps that go around your neck to curtail some of that noise when you're playing legato, because legato with a lot of distortion can get very noisy. But like I said, the good thing is once your technique starts to improve, then you can start backing that distortion off a bit and start really cleaning things up. But for right now, low action, fast guitar, a lot of distortion. It makes it a little easier. And if you notice, even though I got my hand sideways, as I start coming up the neck, I have to straighten my hand out, of course, because I can't play sideways like that. So with that in mind, if you can start playing with your hands straight, that will actually be a big advantage to you as opposed to doing it from the side. Okay, well, you can play it with it straight. So why do you do it from the side? The reason I do it from the side is because I do a lot of bends. As you play guitar, as you know, we do a lot of bends. And it's kind of hard. You can't really, I mean, you can, you just don't have the control as you do grabbing that neck. And even when I'm doing legato stuff, you know, you go running into a bend. So usually on these strings, I'll have my hand to the side. I don't do a whole lot of bending up here. I don't do a whole lot of that shit. So then I can get my hand straightened up, you know, with my fingers, even with the fret markers, the actual fret wire, and make it a lot easier on these up here. But going down, pick, keep everything even, play with the metronome, coming up, pull-offs. We're not going to get too complicated on legato. We're going to try to keep it pretty much simple to that, because there's so much to do. And like I said, these legato passages, I mean, you can do anything legato that you can play with a pick just about. And I do use a lot of legato. When I'm doing these little, you know, I do a lot of legato stuff like that. Now, my style isn't a true legato because I will pick. If you notice, I will usually pick coming onto a string no matter which direction I'm going. I will usually pick going onto it because that's just kind of how I got used to it. And it works. Now if I'm doing an extremely fast passage down, I will always pick the first note. Like I did on that Katy Perry video where I picked every one of the notes. Because like I said, these hammer-ons out of nowhere have a tendency to get noisy, and if you hammer on too hard, you're going to get this really boom, this one really loud note, and the other ones aren't going to be as loud. So I can control it better by picking that first note all the time. I can control that better. So, on that note, just work on that for legato, and then we will jump back into legato, and we will do bigger, more, better, important things. Because normally when I'm doing like a major scale run, I almost always do it legato. I will pick that first note, and let's say we're doing it at A. I will always pick that first note. And then legato the rest of it through. Because sometimes doing that at the speed you want to do it, it's just, I just can't do it as clean with this. I mean, when you really are starting to get this thing cranked up, I can pick that on those strings, but trying to keep my picking precise across all this, sometimes it just doesn't work out the way that I want it to, so I do it legato. So that's why I always do the picking exercises, because you never stop getting stuff in sync. You never stop getting stuff in sync. Even the greatest picking guitar player that I know still does picking exercises, because you just have to work it all the time. So on that note, this was a very, very, very minimal exercise on legato, but I wanted to get started on legato, and then we will pick this up and get into a bigger, better section of legato. So practice on that, work on those hammer-ons and pull-offs, and if push comes to shove and you're having a hard time, then you probably need to develop the strength in your hand. And then we covered that earlier over just sitting there working that shit out. Quick note before I get off of that topic though, and I guess I probably should have said this earlier. One thing I should is you don't want to attack the note furiously, because it's going to wear your hand down really, really, really fast. You want to stay fluid and keep a light touch. Well, how light of a touch do I need? Well, how light of a touch does it take to make that sound? That's not a lot of pressure. Figaro, Figaro, Figaro. It doesn't take a lot of pressure. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Keep the touch light but forceful, if that makes any sense. And if you think about it and you're looking at the guitar, you'll understand what I'm saying. You want to have the power on it, but you don't want to try to drive your finger through the neck. You only need to make contact hard enough to make the note sing. So you don't have to, just grind into the neck. Keep it soft and light. That's not a lot of force doing that. So keep everything even, keep it soft and light. Just enough force to make the note sing. But you got to kind of stay committed to it. And it's kind of hard to explain. You can't half-ass it. Legato is one of those things you cannot half-ass. You got to do it all the way, and you got to do it correctly, or it's always going to sound like shit. So, like I said, softly but forcefully, kind of like thunderous silence. If you understand thunderous silence, you're going to know what I mean by softly but forcefully. You will put the two together. So, on that note, work on the legato. We will get onto a bigger legato discussion later, but right now, let's just get shit working. Let's get things moving in the direction we move. Because at one point, we're actually going to sit here and start doing some soloing, and we're going to start incorporating a lot of the bullshit that we're doing right now, which bullshit is the wrong word. I should not have said that. We're going to start incorporating some of these absolutely unbelievably amazing rock and roll God techniques that we are putting together. So, that's what I meant to say, and no matter what I say in the future, that's what I always mean to say. No matter what I say, that's what I always mean to say. So, like the great Sammy Hagar said, if you miss the beat, you lose the rhythm, and nothing falls into place, and those are words to live by. And which reminds me, I've got to get back into story times. Man, I got a story to tell you guys about this girl and my crash and burn. Dude, I mean, I almost went out in the car and cut my own head off. It was that bad. It was that, oh my God, we got to get into that. We got to get into that. So anyway, whatever instrument you're playing, play it to the best of your ability. Please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments section. If you have any comments, put it down in the comments section. I will be back. Things will be moving a little bit here and there. I am moving, and this is going to take a little bit of time because I'm actually moving back to my house. I know I have a house and I don't live in it. Something I'll get into a different time, why I'm moving back to my house, but I'm actually getting ready for it to sell. And there's a couple things that we found out that I had to do to it, so I'm moving back into it for about 6 months to get it primed, pristine, and ready to sell. And then I will be back out again, and who knows where I'll end up. Shit, I might move my ass to Puerto Rico. I don't know. But regardless on that, whatever instrument you play it to the best of your ability, play it to your fullest, and practice, practice, practice. Use your metronomes. Our goal here is to be rock gods. And if we can't be rock gods, let's just fucking be the best that we can be. Because at the end of the day, that's all you can ask, is to be the best that you can be. So God bless everybody, and until the next time, rock on.